They said I was mature for my age, they meant I was useful. By the end of last night, my phone was on silent, my door was locked, and I was ugly crying into instant noodles like a Disney villain who finally snapped. I didn't realize I was parenting my parents until my therapist asked very gently, "Who comforted you when you were sad?" And I laughed so hard I scared her. Growing up, my dad would stomp around the house after work, slamming cabinets like they personally offended him. Mom would whisper, "Go talk to him, he listens to you." I was freaking 10. Well, I thought that was normal. I'd pat his shoulder, tell him it wasn't his fault, tell him we loved him. He'd sigh like I was his tiny marriage counselor. Mom cried about bills, about relatives, about neighbors parking wrong. Guess who held her hand? Guess who told her she was strong? Me, the kid who still believed vegetables were a conspiracy. By high school, I was the emotional IT help desk. Dad was ranting about work. Mom was spiraling about money. Aunties were gossiping in the kitchen while asking me if they were bad wives. I would nod, fix, soothe, translate feelings into sentences adults should have learned themselves. And they praised me, "You're so mature." Cool, I was 12 and already exhausted. Fast forward to adulthood, I moved back home after a breakup and job loss. Same house, same drama, but now I pay bills too. Mom wakes me up at 2 a.m. to read a text from Dad because she's too anxious. Dad calls me during work meetings to vent about Mom. I'm mediating arguments about toothpaste caps like a hostage negotiator. Last week I forgot to call Mom back. Once, because I was busy being a human, she texted, "So you don't care anymore?" Dad called to say I hurt her feelings. Suddenly I'm apologizing for not scheduling emotional office hours. That night I realized something awful. I don't know how to be loved without working for it. I got angry, like cartoon Steve Mountevier's angry. I wrote a group message, "I love you both, but I'm not your therapist. If you need help, get counseling. I'm off duty after 9 p.m. Mom sent crying emojis, Dad sent a thumbs up, silence, thick dramatic silence. I felt like I'd kicked puppies. But the next morning, no midnight calls, no emergency tears, just coffee and quiet. I'm still angry, still guilty, still tired. But for the first time I ate breakfast without refereeing someone else's feelings. And here is the petty twist. Dad asked me for my therapist's number yesterday. Mom booked yoga. They're suddenly working on themselves. I guess the only way they'd grow up was if I stopped being their mom. So am I the asshole for finally clocking out of a job I never applied for? Because part of me feels free, and part of me still hears my mom crying in the kitchen at max stereo volume.